And topic number 6 comes to us today from Lynn from Shanghai, China. Oh, that's cool. And Lynn writes, "Hello, Cody. I've watched you for years now, and I've got to tell you, you're the best." Oh, thank you, Lynn. That's so kind. "Thanks for being such a great model in our sport. I'm curious to know the genesis of your love for Harry Potter. Obviously, you're a self-proclaimed nerd and very forthcoming about your love for the wizarding world. How did you come to love this franchise so much? What makes it so near and dear to your heart? Thank you for the best part of the day. Cheers." All right, thank you, Lynn, for that question. And yes, as you can see, I am a super Harry Potter nerd. Behind me, I have 180 Harry Potter Funko Pops. Above that, I have my 5-headed Tiamat dragon. Far off to the left, I've got some of my larger Funko Pops. I love Harry Potter. I absolutely love it. Fun fact, the second thing that Allie and I ever talked about was Harry Potter. The very first conversation Allie and I ever had was about Lord of the Rings, because it was around the time when the Hobbit movies were in theaters. The first Hobbit movie and then the second Hobbit movie. And so we talked about that, and then it's spilled into Harry Potter, and we both found out that we love Harry Potter. My wands are, I don't know if my wands are in frame right now, but I've got all my wands from our trips to the Harry Potter parks. And I love your question. How did I become such a fan? So I'll tell you, when I was around 9 or 10 years old, my mom took me to the very first Harry Potter movie. It was the opening weekend of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. She took me to the Suncoast Resort in Las Vegas, Nevada, where I grew up. And we waited in line. Back then you couldn't buy tickets in advance. We waited in line for this highly anticipated movie about this very popular book that I had heard about, but I had not yet read. My mom and I watched this movie, and I fell in love. I was transported by this amazing, magical world. And I walked out of that theater thinking that was one of the coolest things I've ever seen. As a young kid, that was one of the coolest things I'd ever seen. And then immediately I was like, Mom, we got to get these books. And so my mom got me the first book, and we read it together. And then we read the next book. And then as I grew up with that book series. You know, I was one of the kids that waited in line outside Borders Books for the next installment of the series to come out. I remember waiting in line for the Half-Blood Prince for a long time to get that book at Borders Bookstore in Vegas. And, you know, it was a series that I read multiple times over years. And in the books, I'm roughly the same age as Harry, the main character. And so I see a lot of the traits, as a lot of people do, from myself in Harry. You know, my father, unfortunately, was not in my life a whole lot, especially as I got older. He had a lot of drug problems and fell out of our life. And my mom worked a lot to basically keep our house, to put food on the table. And so she was busy. And so there were a lot of times when I felt very alone. And I resonated a lot with, you know, Harry feeling like an orphan, feeling kind of alone and needing a place to go where he felt safe and felt happy and had friends and camaraderie and all those things that I found at the pool, things that I found on my swim team, but then also things that I found in some of these fictional characters that I loved reading and exploring journeys with them. And as I aged and grew up with these characters, when I dealt with certain things that happened in my life, like my parents getting divorced because of my dad's drug problems, I remember, you know, the only thing that would make me feel better and take my mind off of some of the things that I was dealing with personally was, you know, escapism entertainment. Sometimes I feel like escapism entertainment gets a bad rap. It's really a beautiful thing because it allows us to kind of check out, refresh, and come back with a new perspective on things. You know, come back refreshed with a feeling of happiness, with maybe learning a few things, with just a different perspective on life after, you know, reading about these wonderful stories that relate to real life. Even though they happen in like a world with magic, and I loved that so much. You know, when I went through some very difficult times, like losing our home, like my parents getting divorced, like you know, quite honestly, not having any money to do anything. You know, fortunately for me, I was good enough at swimming that paid for my education, but my future beyond high school, it was so up in the air. It could have gone so many different ways, and that Harry Potter franchise was always there for something for me to look forward to, and for me to invest my time in and enjoy myself and feel comfort and in home and love. And I really, really love that. I really, really do. And that's why I like embrace it so much, because I got a lot out of it, right? Like I saw a lot of myself in some of those characters, but I also was given a sense of relief and a new perspective on things from reading not just the Harry Potter books, but a lot of fantasy things. That's why I like a lot of fantasy stuff. But I think those things are important. I really, really do. And that's why I still cherish them. And that's why I have them up on my walls. And that's why when Allie and I first discovered that we both loved these kinds of things, that was like a big deal. It was a big deal to find someone that loved nerdy stuff. Like a lot of women just, aren't really into that. That's okay. It's not for everyone, but I got really lucky that, Allie and I, when we first started collecting Harry Potter Pops, she was like, maybe we should get a few more. Well, maybe we should, at our old house. It was like, first we got a few as a gift, and then we had a big gift card. And so we were like, okay, well, let's just use the gift card and get some more. And then it's like, well, now we've got like 30. There's only like 40. Like, should we get the other 10? It's like, that's like another $150. Do we do this? Like, how much do we love this? And then all of a sudden we had this collection, and then it just kept growing. And then it became a thing where Allie and I would, we would wait for the new line of the Harry Potter Pops to come out, and when they would come out, we would physically go to the store to go and buy them, even though we could get them online. But it was something fun for us to go and do together. It was something fun for us to go and look forward to doing, to get out of the house, to go to the mall or to go to various nerd stores, and buy these kinds of things. And so that is the genesis of my love for this franchise that I hold very, very dearly. It is my favorite franchise. I do love a lot of other amazing franchises as well. Love Star Wars. I love the Lord of the Rings world. I'm liking the new show. All kinds of fantasy stuff I enjoy. But I think that people need to celebrate the things that they love and be very open and forthcoming about those kinds of things. That's why it's back there. I let people know, like, you don't have to like it. That's cool. Some of my best friends think that it's dumb. That's fine. Like, it doesn't matter. There were times when I was younger where I thought some of the things that I was interested in weren't necessarily cool. Fortunately, Harry Potter was very much a part of the zeitgeist and was extremely popular. So like that was a cool thing. But there are other things, some of the more obscure comic booky things that are more popular today, I was into, and I always felt like kind of embarrassed to tell people, or felt like I should keep things to myself, when in reality, I think you should just celebrate the things that you love. And that type of fandom can only become infectious. That type of fandom and love for something can only be a good thing, because either people feel that same way about it and they get equally excited and they get pumped and they love it, and then you have something to bond over, or people can look at you and say, well, that's not my thing, but I appreciate and love and respect that you have something that makes you this happy. Or on the darker side of things, you have someone that says, oh, that's lame, like that's dumb. But like anyone who looks at someone's passion for something that genuinely brings someone joy and poo-poos on that, I don't want to be associated with that person. I don't want to be around a person that doesn't at least appreciate someone's passion for their fandom of something. That's my words of wisdom for you all out there today. So celebrate the things that you love. If I have any advice for anyone, celebrate the things you love. Be unabashed, is that a word? Fans of things. And yes, that is how it all started. So thank you so much, Lynn from Shanghai, China, for that question. Really, really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this clip, please hit that subscribe button. Full episodes of The Cody Miller Show air every Monday morning, uninterrupted. I'll see you all there. Thanks.